can really spiral out of control when we don't have the context that we need. And I just wish that there was better education when you get your period, when you're a young girl. Today's video is about our moon times, the feminine moon time. Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leeor Alexandra and I'm not gonna do a full intro because today is a vlog. Today I want to talk about my moon time, our moon times, which is not exactly the lunar cycle, but it is the menstrual cycle, cycles of women, females, or anybody that gets a period, and what I like to do around my moon time. And I'm reclaiming my moon. I'm no longer calling it a period because I feel like there's so much negative connotation around periods, and I've had a really tough time with my own throughout my life. So I feel like, going with the spiritual name of moon time is so perfect because I like it now. I love it now, and I've changed my perception on it completely. So first of all, let me put you somewhere where I don't have to hold this big old tripod all day long. Hold on. Okay, this took way more effort than expected and now I'm crooked, but it's okay. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my own struggles with my moon time and how I've gotten to where I am right now with it. I got it about 10 or 11. I'm not sure. I feel like that's pretty young or pretty standard around 10, 11. I know some people get it at like 16 or older. But yeah, I got it at 10 years old. And when I got it, my mom basically just gave me something to use for it, and I didn't really get much context on what it means, what it is. I learned in school later on, but it was so far removed from my own experience of it that it felt cold and detached, and I just didn't understand it. And basically, I feel that in our society, we grow this disdain for our menstrual cycles, and we have removed women and humanity so far away from natural cycles, from nature, that we don't even realize that this is the natural way to be. That women, especially with our hormones and with our monthly lunar cycles, we have ups and downs. We have modes where we're more creative, moods where we're more energetic, moods where we withdraw to ourselves more. And we don't honor that aspects of ourselves, and it's so unfortunate to me. So yeah, when I was around 13, I started getting really bad PMS. So what that meant was around my period, around my moon time, I'll use period for the past and moon time for now, okay? So around my period, I would get so depressed that I was suicidal. And later on, I was diagnosed with clinical depression and things like that, but it was very heavily around my period that I would get these just horrible, thoughts, and just, it wasn't good. Being a teenager is hard enough as it is, going through puberty and hormones and all that stuff, and I was just in a really dark place, and it was really difficult. So my doctor's advice was to put me on birth control. I ended up being on birth control for about 9 years to suppress the symptoms of my period, of the PMDD, which is what I had. PMDD is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and it's really bad. And women get very, very, very depressed. It's very difficult to live life that way. And since I got off birth control when I was about 23 years old, and understand that being on birth control means you're not really having your cycle. So I didn't really have a real cycle for 9 years. My doctor, it wasn't actually making the PMDD better, the birth control. So my doctor eventually had me skip my periods for a couple of years. I only had like 3 or 4 periods a year. How do doctors tell you to do this? It's crazy. It drives me wild. So anyways, the past 4 years or so, I've been completely off birth control, and I've been having my natural cycle again, and it took a very long time for me to get back to a normal place. I went up and down in weight a lot. I started getting acne. This was years ago. I'm fine now, but it just took time to work all that out. And other than time, it took like a spiritual context to understand what was happening to me. But the periods were so bad and I had such a disconnection and such a hatred towards the PMDD and the emotional time around my period that it extended to actually 2 weeks. So 50% of my month was spent basically in just the worst mood disorder possible. And this isn't just like, oh, she's being a brat, like she's PMSing. This is full-on depression, full-on mania at some points, and something had to change. So I had to start looking into, the spiritual reasons of why I was going through what I was going through, why I was struggling so badly. And I've come to learn that the more disconnected we are from our bodies, the more our period is going to be difficult for us. The more disconnected we are from nature, from the moon cycles, the harder the full moon will be on us, and the harder, going through different cycles will be, because then we get stuck in this artificial cycle of beating ourselves up for not being a certain way, and it just continues, and we can really spiral out of control when we don't have the context that we need. And I just wish that there was better education when you get your period, when you're a young girl. I wish that the education about what it means and how important it is and how sacred our moon time is, I wish that was available to us. Because I do have this feeling, I'm not one to rage against the patriarchy, but I do know that in a patriarchal society, the woman's period, the woman's cycle is seen as an inconvenience. Something to subdue, to hide, to get through. Take birth control to make it shorter, do this to hide it. If our society was run by feminine energy just a little bit more, we would understand how powerful the female period is. And my conspiratorial mind, as always, goes to a place of, well, maybe there's a reason we're not taught how powerful we are and how sacred our moon time is. Perhaps it's because the women become stronger energetically than the men, and they can overthrow everything they want and rebuild society to be a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more loving, a little bit closer to nature. And maybe this patriarchal act of subduing the period and taking that time away from us and making it something that's gross, making it something that we don't want to have, maybe that energetically takes away our power. I'm saying maybe just to be like politically correct. I think it does. I think it's a way to take away our powers. Anyways, I could talk about this a lot more. If you guys want me to do full videos on moon times and the sacredness of it, please tell me. But today I'm just gonna tell you what I do a little bit. I mean, it's been 10 minutes already, but I'm gonna tell you what I do on my moon time to make it sacred. So the switch for me was to consider it a moon time, to know it's the time where I'm the most powerful, it's the time where I'm the most intuitive, the most psychic, and this goes for anybody who gets their period. This is the time when you are meant to go inwards, receive messages, receive guidance, talk to your angels, just really, it's the time when you're most psychic and spiritual. And women are seen in all societies across the board, pre-patriarchal rule, of course, as the more spiritual and the more powerful spiritual beings. So there's that. I've learned to simply accept the fact that I'm going to be different the week before my period and the week of my period. I'm going to be quieter, I'm going to be more irritable, I'm going to be much more tired. I get so lethargic, I just don't have the same energy, and there's a reason for that. The reason why we get so tired around our periods is because our bodies and our spirits want rest. It is a time for rejuvenation, it is a time for rest. At one point, women's cycles were synced up with the lunar cycle, or the lunar cycle was inspired by the female cycle. I'm not sure what came first, the chicken or the egg, but the cycles of the moon and when your period falls at what time, it means something. It means something about you and about your energetic levels during that specific time of the month. And there's so much knowledge that can come from studying and observing our periods. So what I've started to do is I've started to track it diligently. I use this app. There's an app called My Moon Time, but it honestly wasn't good, so I don't recommend it. It's supposed to be the spiritual way to track your period, but it wasn't good for me. I don't like it. I just use the app called Clue, and it actually has a seed of life icon. It's not a spiritual app at all, but it's a really good way to keep track of your moods, to keep track of your body, your energy level, if you meditation, if you've had sex during that, whatever, you keep track of everything on the app. And obviously not sponsored, couldn't even remember the name, but that's what I use, and I use the free version. When I keep track of this, I know when the PMS is going to come in, and because of that, I'm able to plan out my month accordingly, because I know that during that time I shouldn't do important things that require a lot of brain activity, that require a lot of effort and a lot of energy. I know that other people, we all have different individual schedules and responsibilities, and not all of us can just stay in bed all day and feel our feelings while we're on our cycle or having PMS. However, if you can plan your month around that way, that allows you to have like an hour or two by yourself while you are on your cycle, just to really reset yourself and be with yourself. Maybe go to the beach and sit on the sand and just be with Mother Nature and connect to that divine feminine energy. That will be really helpful. I know that a lot of us have families to take care of and school and work, but if you can plan to have just some time for yourself, you should plan to have some time for yourself during your cycle. So my time for myself, I go inwards. I journal a lot. Let me just take you to where I have all my stuff. Basically, I practice a lot of self-care. So it's drinking a lot of teas. I find that drinking coffee on my moon time, for some reason, just affects me really poorly. So I drink my teas. I just do a lot of self-care. When I get cramps, instead of taking Advil or anything that, I just don't take any sort of pill like that anymore, unless I really, really need to and I'm really in a lot of pain. I like to take some CBD. I take full spectrum CBD because it has all the cannabinoids and it's just really good for us. It's really good for inflammation. So that's what I do. There are 2 teas that I like to drink on my period. Everyday Detox by Traditional Medicines. I actually have this on a regular basis, but I really like to have it during my moon time as well. It's just dandelion tea. If you can make yourself some dandelion tea with some actual dandelions, or get some Traditional Medicines or whatever product they have in your local store, that'll be good. But what's really important is to have raspberry leaf tea. This helps not just with my cramps, but with my mood as well, and just with, it makes the cycle a lot easier. It comes a lot, it's not as difficult. I've really noticed that my period is shorter when I do this, which is weird because I like the time, I like my moon time now because I allow myself the time to rest. So I kind of want it to be like a full 5 days, but when I have the raspberry leaf tea and when I really go inwards and take care of myself, it just gets a lot shorter. So like, I'm just gonna show you what I do, okay? I'm just gonna give you a heads up right now. I'm about to do a face mask, so don't get scared, okay? The rest of the vlog, I wanna be fresh-faced. Cute. This is the last you'll see me cute. I'm going to do my new favorite mask right now, which is my Teamy Detox Mask. It's a green tea blend. It has matcha, lemongrass, clay. When they reached out to ask me if I want to try it, I first obviously asked that it's vegan and cruelty-free. It is. It's not tested on animals and it's vegan, made in the USA. It has bentonite clay, which I used to just use regular bentonite clay on my face, and it just sucks up all the like dirt. It's just really good. Let's just put this on. So I always do a lot of self-care right before the moon time and during, because honestly I've noticed, whoa, I look shiny in this. I've noticed such a difference when I drink the teas, especially the dandelion tea and then the raspberry leaf tea, and when I do my like skincare and stuff, I no longer break out around my moon time. It's a combination of taking care of myself and coming to terms with my moon time. Basically starting to like my period, which is what I want us all to do. I want us to reclaim the period. You're gonna see all the gunk coming out of my face in a second. Thank you, Teamy, for sending me this mask. I love it. I used to drink Teamy teas all the time, but I didn't know that they did skincare. So I tried it out for a little bit, and I really like doing it around my moon time because it gets rid of the redness that I get, especially, you know, hormonal areas. It's like the chin, a little bit on the forehead, like a little bit on the sides. So you leave this mask on for 15 minutes, and while I leave it on, let's go make tea. I think I look cute. So I'm gonna do raspberry leaf tea today, and it steeps for a long time. So if you're gonna do a mask and do your tea first so you can drink it while wearing your mask. One touch of nature makes the whole world kin. You see? We're all in alignment here. Can you tell I'm having a hard time with my tripod today? This also has dandelion leaf in it, and it has spearmint, rosehip, lemon verbena leaf, West Indian lemongrass, and chamomile. It's really, really, really good and really calming for cramps and for when your uterus is screaming at you. I had to come to terms with the fact that my disconnection with myself, with my feminine energy, had to have something to do with how terrible my moon time was. And now it's just not like that anymore. I enjoy it. I really don't get cramps as much. The period's only like 3 days. It's so weird. It's so crazy. And I do a lot of other things that are a little bit more esoteric and out there. So if you want to know about them, let me know. Because it's like, I never considered that I'd be so comfortable making videos, comfortable enough to talk about my menstrual cycle and to talk about it in length. So this is new for me, but I am comfortable and I'm excited because I want to help everybody. I want us all together. I might be really late on the bandwagon of loving the moon time, but I want us all to reclaim our moon time together. Okay, now I'm gonna put this down because my camera's overheating, and I will show you my skin when I pull this off. So you know how I mentioned that I can't believe what I look like. My skin's getting so tight. It feels like it's sucking things out of my skin. I told you that it is a time for going inwards. It really is. Because when we were synced up with the moon, women would get their cycle around the new moon, which is a time of hiding away, of going away. There would be these places, these like tents that women would go to on their moon times in order to bring back knowledge for their tribes, for their communities, which is so cool. I'm having a harder time speaking now. So it's a really good time for introspection. So I drink my tea, my raspberry leaf tea, do my skincare, and I'm gonna journal. And when I journal, basically my method is writing down whatever comes to me. It's kind of like a stream of consciousness kind of thing, whatever comes up. And I always find patterns. So what's been really good for me is that I journal every single day, but I make it very obvious when I'm on my moon time in my journal so that I can go back and I can see how I felt the month before. So the last few months, when I go back to my journals, since reclaiming my moon time, they've just been so much better. 4 months ago, I looked at one of my journal entries and it was really dark, it was really sad, I was in a bad place. But now, since making it about me, making this time for me, it's a time for renewal and refreshing my life and being prepared for creativity for the rest of the month, they just haven't been bad anymore. I haven't been sad or even super emotional or moody, which is crazy. I know that it's cycles, that sometimes you are, sometimes you're not, but for me, it's been 12, 13, 14 years of consistent, horrible PMDD. And of course, there's a spiritual self-care solution to it. It's reclaiming the moon time. So right now, I'm just going to journal a little bit. And I really like to have my crystals with me. And I think that I don't really do oracle cards the way that I think you're supposed to, but I like to play with my oracle cards, and I think that it's such a mystical, like moon-timey thing to do. So I just play with my crystals and play with my cards, and I kind of do a little spread for myself, and then I'll write and I'll journal about that, what came up for me, and I think it's time to take off this mask. Okay, so I'm gonna take it off now. Look, it's so tight. We'll see what my skin looks like. Always looks really refreshed and just like dewy and bright. Okay, that took me forever to take off, but look at my skin. Like, yeah, I have these little, you know, they come still, but they're not bad at all. And it's just like so clean. Thank you, Timmy. By the way, if you guys want to get your own, they gave us a discount code. It's Leeor15 for 15% off. The detox mask with green tea blend. It's the bentonite. That stuff is so good. Everyone, of course, is going to be different on their own cycle. But if you're like me, I also don't like hanging out with people really when I'm on it, because I just feel like I just need to withdraw into myself and just do my own thing and take care of myself. And that's what I like to do. I also read a lot about moontime rituals and the sacredness of the moontime. So if you guys want me to do more videos, more moontime videos, more informational, or whatever it is that you want, please let me know, because I'm really obsessed with this topic right now. I was asked to host a class at this meditation place in West Hollywood, and I told them I want to talk about moon times, and they haven't gotten back to me since. So that's what I'm obsessed with right now. Let me know if you want more videos like this. Thank you to Timmy for sending me the detox mask and sponsoring this video. I genuinely love this mask. It's really, really good. If you want to get your own, the code is Leeor15. So yeah, thank you for watching, and as always, until next time, keep your vibrations way, way, way up.